Imagine a world without sandwiches, fluffy dinner rolls, and crispy baguettes. Hard to picture, right? For most of human history, bread was a far cry from the mouth-watering loaves we enjoy today. It was dense, tough, and filled with all manner of nasty surprises. So how did bread transform from a basic survival food into a staple that shaped entire civilizations? In this video, we're taking a tasty trip through time to explore how bread evolved and how it shaped human history along the way. Trust me, you won't look at your toast the same way again. So let's dig in and find out. Thousands of years ago, an ancient hunter-gatherer accidentally spills water onto some wild grains. Oops. A few days later, he discovers a gooey fermenting mixture. Rather than waste it, he cooks it on a hot stone, and voila, the first bread is born. While we can't be sure it happened exactly like this, it's fun to imagine one of our favorite foods starting as a happy accident. Of course, there are several theories about how humans actually discovered bread making. Some researchers believe it really was accidental, just like our little scenario. Others think early humans might have intentionally experimented with grains after watching natural fermentation in the wild. Maybe they noticed grains bubbling and thought, why not try it? Either way, the discovery of bread making turned out to be a game changer, paving the way for human history to rise. Pun intended. These early breads were nothing like the fluffy loaves we love today. They were dense, hard cakes made from crushed grains mixed with water, and gathering enough wild grains to make them? Talk about a workout. Families spent days collecting tiny seeds from plants like einkorn and barley just to make a single meal. As our ancestors recognized the value of these grains, they began to cultivate them. This shift from foraging to farming around 10,000 BC was revolutionary. It led to permanent settlements, the birth of agriculture, and eventually entire civilizations. Bread wasn't just food, it was power. It provided a stable, storable food source that could support larger populations. With surplus grain, societies could specialize. Some people farmed, others crafted tools, and leaders emerged. Bread essentially fueled the rise of complex societies. It also became a social glue. Sharing bread fostered community bonds and cooperation, essential for survival in these early settlements. Festivals, rituals, and even laws revolved around it. Bread was kneaded into the very fabric of society. But every story has its dark side. As people became dependent on bread, new challenges emerged. Was bread really the staff of life, or a double-edged sword? So here's where things get interesting, and a bit disturbing. Early bread wasn't just tough to make, it was actually dangerous to eat. The flour was ground using stone tools, leaving tiny rock fragments in the mix. Day after day, these particles literally ground down people's teeth. Archaeological evidence shows ancient people with teeth worn to the gum line, all from eating their daily bread. The problems didn't stop at dental damage. Nutritionally, early bread was lacking. Iron deficiency became widespread because the phytic acid in whole grains can block iron absorption, leaving people weak and tired. Vitamin B deficiency, particularly thiamine, led to a condition called beriberi, causing nerve damage and muscle weakness. People were literally getting sick from their daily bread, but they had no idea why. But humans are nothing if not adaptable. Over time, bakers discovered that fermenting dough before baking made it more digestible and nutritious. They began experimenting with different grains and techniques, gradually transforming bread from a health hazard into a dietary staple. If you're finding this as fascinating as we do, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. As societies grew, bread became more than just food. It transformed into a powerful tool for controlling the masses. In ancient Rome, this reached new heights with the famous bread and circuses policy, providing free grain and entertainment to keep the masses happy and distracted. The emperors knew that a well-fed populace was a docile one. The average Roman citizen consumed up to 2 pounds of bread daily, making it the perfect leverage point for maintaining social order. Large-scale bakeries sprang up, capable of feeding thousands daily. Bread production became centralized, and regulations were established for weight, price, and quality. But this concentration of power also led to corruption and manipulation. Bread wasn't just nourishing bodies, it was fueling empires. During medieval times, bread's political influence grew even stronger. Powerful bakers' guilds emerged, controlling who could enter the profession and how much it would cost. These guilds created the first food monopolies, negotiating directly with local authorities and manipulating both quality and price for their benefit. While politics played out, bakers were revolutionizing their craft. They discovered that letting dough sit before baking created lighter, tastier bread. Though they didn't understand the science, these bakers had harnessed the power of wild yeasts and beneficial bacteria to transform their bread. It was like magic. This discovery spread across Europe, with regions developing their own specialties. French bakers perfected the baguette, with its crackling crust and airy interior. Italian regions each developed their own unique rustic loaves, bringing us ciabatta and focaccia, and German bakers mastered dense, flavorful rye breads. These breads weren't just food, they were cultural icons. Baking became an art form, passed down through generations. This was the golden age of artisanal bread making. Techniques were refined, flavors explored, and bread took its place as a beloved staple in households across Europe. But just as we were perfecting the craft, the Industrial Revolution rolled in. The 19th century brought machines, factories, and a whole new way of making bread. Roller mills could produce whiter flour faster than ever before. But this efficiency came at a cost. The new milling process stripped away much of the grain's nutrients, including fiber, vitamins, and minerals. Commercial yeast made its debut, replacing the slower, traditional sourdough fermentation. Bread that once took days to ferment could now be made in just a few hours. While this sped up production significantly, the rich, complex flavors of sourdough were sacrificed for convenience. Mass production made bread cheap and accessible. The introduction of sliced bread in 1928 was hailed as the greatest thing since, well, unsliced bread. But this convenience came at a cost. Bread became uniform, losing much of its regional variety and artisanal charm. Preservatives and additives became common to extend shelf life. Bread was now a commodity, and its soul was slowly being kneaded out. Was this progress, or were we losing something important? While the Industrial Revolution made bread more accessible, you can still enjoy the convenience of modern bread making right at home. A high-quality bread maker machine can save you time while delivering fresh, homemade loaves. If you're looking to up your bread game with minimal effort, take a look at the bread maker I recommend in the description. Today, bread sits at a fascinating crossroads. Industrial production has made it more accessible than ever, but has also stripped away much of its nutrition and tradition. The rise of gluten-free diets has led many to question bread's place in our lives, while others point to modern production methods rather than wheat itself as the problem. Yet we're seeing a revival of ancient techniques. Artisanal bakers are returning to slow fermentation and heritage grains, creating bread that's not only delicious but potentially more digestible. They're proving that sometimes the old ways are worth preserving. Whether you love it or avoid it, bread's story mirrors our own journey as a species, from simple survivors to sophisticated civilization. Next time you bite into a sandwich or tear into a fresh baguette, remember, you're tasting thousands of years of human history. What do you think about bread's journey from dangerous staple to modern convenience food? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating food history. Until next time, keep exploring the amazing stories behind your favorite foods.